Greetings and welcome to Out of the Blue Bee. I'm going to just lecture on Neo-Swedenborgianism for a minute because that's really what I hope to get people into, and I have added an author. The canon in Neo-Swedenborgian, there's 3 different canons. Up here there's actual Swedenborg. Down here in our present day life there's the near-death experiences, and there's really interesting parallels between those two. And in the middle here you have these authors who seem to be describing the same world that Swedenborg describes, but he's writing in the 1700s, so it's very an older writing style. These people here are happening every day, but people don't know about this. And these are writers who appear to have been influenced by Swedenborg and who write about this same realm, so to speak. But they're very different writers. So what I'm going to do is I've already recommended you start with Francezzo. So book 1, if you're going to read these books, is Francezzo, Wanderer in the Spirit Lands. I'll link to that below. But what I'm going to talk about today is Monsignor, the Monsignor Hugh Benson, because I found his book, Life in the World Unseen, narrated completely cover to cover. So I'm going to link this narration cover to cover down in the description. But I was thinking about it, and I want to kind of lay out the writers. The new one is Andre Luis. I've spoken in the past that the canon is Francezzo, Rebecca Springer, J. Hewitt, and Monsignor. Those 4 is where it started. Francezzo, Wanderer in the Spirit Lands, Rebecca Springer, Intramuros, J. Hewitt Mackenzie, Spirit Intercourse, and Monsignor Hugh Benson, Life in the World Unseen, which is linked in the description. And so I was listening to this thing I'm going to link, and Monsignor, here I have good, that says, and that says bad. So I have the characters that I'm referencing mapped out, and Francezzo was bad. I don't know if this is clear, but Francezzo was bad, and he was very passionate. He was an Italian painter, and he was a very passionate man. And Arinzeman was also bad. If you read the story of Arinzeman, which you would start with Francezzo and then move on to Arinzeman, also very bad. It's an extraordinary story, Arinzeman. And then on this side you have the Monsignor Hugh Benson, who was an English priest. And when you read his writing, he's very polite. He's like very good, better than your average person. And also J. Hewitt recommends kind of living a certain kind of lifestyle. He talks about the science of living. So Monsignor and J. Hewitt Mackenzie are both kind of really good. They're very polite. They're very nice. And then in the middle here you have Andre Luis and Rebecca Springer. And Rebecca Springer, these just seem like kind of more regular people. Like the Monsignor is a priest, J. Hewitt Mackenzie is a spiritualist. These two, Rebecca Springer and Andre Luis, are really neither good nor bad. They're pretty regular. Rebecca Springer is like a farm girl, a grown-up Midwest, a woman who grew up on a farm in the Midwest and on her sickbed had this amazing experience. So she doesn't present as really extra good or extra bad. She's just more normal. And Andre Luis is a guy who basically smoked and drank himself to death and woke up in the spirit lands being called a suicide. And he says, I didn't commit suicide. I got sick and I tried to get better. He fought against his sickness, And they said, no, look at this. And they showed his whole life about how all the smoking and drinking basically killed him. It was a slow suicide. So, Andre Luis was a medical doctor who kind of lived a high life and died young. And so you don't get the impression that he's especially good or especially bad. He's pretty relatable. And so here we are at 5 minutes. I don't want to go on too long, but the canon in my earliest videos I said was Francezzo, Rebecca Springer, J. Hewitt, and Monsignor. And through Francezzo, I learned about Arinzeman. And Andre Luis is the person who, the voice of Xavier, what's his name? Chico Xavier. Chico Xavier's No Solar is the first book of 12, and it tells the story of Andre Luis. Or it is through Chico Xavier that Andre Luis is telling his story, I guess is how I should say it. And so I just wanted to add that to the canon, first of all. We'll talk more about that because there's a whole lot to talk about, and there's a brand new movie coming out. But in the comments or in the description is the Monsignor Hugh Benson's book. And I'm going to talk about that for a little while. So if you want to play along, go and listen to that. Thanks. See you. Bye.